Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday, July 20th GDAC.
I muted you, so. We're all set.
Okay, okay. Little technical problem there. Yeah, good morning. Welcome, everybody, to the July 20th GDAC meeting. I'd like to recognize and welcome Councillor John Dunstall, who's joining us this morning. And at this time, I'd like to do the land acknowledgement. Niagara Region and Grimsby are situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Adirondack and the Haudenosaunee and the Assiniboine, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The regional municipality of Niagara and the town of Grimsby stands with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands in which we live. I'll start with, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest from any committee members? Not seeing any, thank you. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda? Alejandra, and seconder, Michael. Excuse me for a second. Thank you. Also, I'd like to get a mover and a seconder for the previous minutes of our meeting of April 20th. Mover and a seconder for that. Michael, Councillor Ritchie. Any discussions with regards to the April 20th meeting minutes? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward with the business of the meeting, and I'll look to our Economic Development Officer, Frank, to start us off with the summary Grimsby Economic Development Strategic Action Plan. Frank?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Chairman, we've had a very busy 3 months. In that we have visited over 10 businesses in our community, all manufacturers primarily, and it's been quite a ride in terms of understanding our local businesses, but more importantly, learning about what their concerns, their challenges are, and getting to know them, because that's the whole basis behind corporate visitation, is understanding what they're about, what they're doing, what their aspirations are, what their challenges are, and of course, their whole concept of, are they going to be expanding their operation so that we can help them? And that's the concierge service that takes on afterwards. But what I'd like to do is go through the slides that we've presented this morning. There's about a few things that we like to talk about, and here's the agenda, but I'd like to start off by talking a little bit about the summary of our Grimsby Economic Development Strategic Action Plan. While we have adopted the Strategic Action Plan from Council, we're now going to condense that into a summary format so we can print it and promote it in terms of identifying the more salient points of the strategy. So we're almost prepared to go to print on that, and hopefully in the next week or two it will be completed. Also, I think I got the wrong slides up, but anyways. Also, Niagara Region has, sorry, back up a bit. Niagara Region has also adopted its official strategic action plan, and it's a 10-year action plan, which basically aligns with ours quite well. Now, as we know, Niagara Region economic development is focused on attracting investment. Our job at the local level is, once they have attracted investment in Niagara Region, it's free for all, and hopefully they'll locate in Grimsby or somewhere in Niagara Region. If they locate in Niagara Region, we all win, because Niagara Region gets 50% of the taxes. Niagara Region obviously will get the jobs, and some of the people that work in that industry that perhaps is located in St. Catharines will probably work from Grimsby to St. Catharines. So we all win if it's located in Niagara Region. So we understand very well how Niagara Region works in terms of economic development, but what's important is they understand how we as municipality work in terms of assisting our local businesses. And so they are very good at helping us through Ken Schulten. Whenever there is an issue relating to an expansion of our industry and it's fronting a regional road, they actually get involved and engage and try to expedite that development. So I wanted to summarize by saying that the Niagara Region's economic development strategy is well aligned with ours, and we as a corporation are working very closely with Niagara Region. So that's basically what I wanted to highlight there. It's important to note that, you know, in the last meeting that we've had, the Digital Main Street program, this committee approved the continuance of that program, and I'm happy to say that we did receive $37,420 for the program, and have been interviewing several individuals, and today with us is Carlos, and he is the new DSS coordinator for us, and he'll be working with us in the next couple of years.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Frank. What I was wondering, if as we go through the listing here, if we can just reflect to the committee members, sorry, if there's any questions or comments. So, yeah, what I would like to do then, if we could go back to the economic development strategy action plan where you spoke about.
Okay.
Yeah. I just thought we can do this now rather than at the end of it, just so it's fresh on everybody's, if you're all right with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Can't see the committee members, but is there any questions or comments with regard to Frank's first report on the Economic Development Strategic Action Plan? Here we go. Thank you. CAO Slang?
Yeah, it's not a summary anymore, Frank. It's been approved by council, so we should just say that, you know, it's an approved plan that finalized. It's no longer just a draft. You had draft in there, so it's...
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, CAO Slang. Pardon me. Yeah, just looking, any comments from any members, committee members? Okay. See, not hearing any. Frank also spoke with on the Niagara Regional Economic Development Strategy. Any comments to what's been going on through the Niagara region, supporting economic development in the town of Grimsby? Councillor Dunstall.
Thank you. Yeah, through you to Frank. Frank, it sounds like we've aligned the region with our strategy, which is really good, but you mentioned, and so I'm going to bring it up, that once a company or a business or somebody that wants to invest in this region, it becomes a free-for-all, but would the region not use their own strategies to suggest where a company is going to locate, and the better communications we have with the region, the better advantage we have to it. Is that fair to say? How do we fare with the other municipalities with their strategic plans, and how do we compare? And are we going to be, there's 12 municipalities. Are we going to be number 11? Or are we going to be number 2 or 1 or the second or third choice? And of course, that's a real tough question to answer. I know that. But I'm just wondering if we've got good open lines of communication so it isn't like a free-for-all, if you know what I mean, because there's got to be some strategic way of this happening and not other municipalities getting mad because somehow we took advantage of the situation. Because I think in the past, municipalities have worked in silos and with the region, and it's not been very good or healthy for the whole process. So is there a good process in place to make this work so that, if it goes to Welland instead of Grimsby, our nose isn't out of joint because we understand that we couldn't have handled what it was that Welland had, and we're not going to be, but if we could have accepted it, but Welland gets it because they went ahead and did something. You see where I'm being hypothetical, of course, but, have you got a feel for that? Can you give us a summary?
Right. The free-for-all concept is that if an industry is considering locating in Niagara region, or they've identified Niagara region as a location, they go through Niagara Economic Development Department. Their job is to then identify, to send it to all of us, to be honest with you, and they've done that.
Oh, okay.
They do that automatically. They send it to us. They say, well, here's an industry that's looking at Niagara. Here are the requirements. Do you have the 10-acre parcel of land, or do you have the 50,000 square foot building? Does it have rail siding? All those kinds of criteria that we need to identify and see if we have something like that. Then I would respond, yes, we have a piece of property that conforms to your requirements. We like to go and meet them. A good example would have been just not too long ago was the electric vehicle power plant, battery plant. And we were looking at the 36 acres off Kelson Road. And we talked to the owners about it. And at the end of the day, while we were qualified to go to the next step, they've obviously identified somewhere else. And they haven't told us, obviously. But we're out of the running in that respect. Okay? I hope they stay in Niagara region. But we are treated fairly in that respect. And we have very good communications with George and Ken at the region whenever we require. So I know them personally for many years, especially George. So good working relationship with them.
Thank you. Good answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to get back to some procedure a little bit here, what I want to do is we've had the report from the summary of the Economic Development Strategic Action Plan. So I just want to have a resolution here from a committee to accept the verbal report of Frank. So if I could get a mover and a seconder for that. Sorry, I can't see anybody. Can we get the screen back up, Peter? Thank you. And then we'll continue on. Just want to, Can I get a mover and a seconder that the resolve that the update regarding the Grimsby Economic Development Strategic Action Plan be received? Michael, Alejandra? All in favor on that? And that is carried. Thank you. Then the other report that we had was with regards to the, I get a mover and a seconder, resolved that the update regarding the Niagara Region Economic Development Strategic be received. Mover and a seconder for that, please. Alejandra? Seconder? Michael? And all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Okay, sorry to interrupt the part of the presentation, Frank. So if you want to, you started on with Digital Main Street. Did you want to continue on that, please? Thank you.
All right, so Digital Main Street. As I said earlier, Digital Main Street is a program that this committee has approved to continue in our last meeting, and we received $37,420 for the next couple of years, and we hired Carlos Arajos over here, who will be starting next Monday, and we hope to visit as many of the small SMEs in our community that are not digitally inclined. So that was the main reason behind Digital Main Street. Through the COVID experience, they wanted to see a lot of the small businesses to be selling their products online, and some of them do not have online presence. So our objective as a municipality and as a province is to help those small businesses to be online, and that's why we have a digital service squad, the DSS coordinator, to help achieve that objective. So with my assistance and the Chamber of Commerce assistance and the DIA and all those other organizations that we're going to be working closely with, identifying some of the small businesses that should be on the net, we have someone that will help them to achieve that objective. And there's funding available, as I identified in the slide here. There's 3 programs that we could connect with, and they receive up to $2,500 to get an internet, a web page started. So that's pretty good money, and it's free, and it's available, and we have somebody that can actually help them start that web page. And that's primarily the thinking behind Digital Main Street, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, if I may, microphone. If I may, any questions or comments from committee members on this report? I think what's really interesting with this report is the businesses that have enrolled. There are 5 businesses in the process, and there's 5 businesses that have completed the application for the Digital Main Street application. Then, Frank? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the previous Main Street program that we had. Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, the reason why we didn't have a lot of intakes from our businesses is because I believe, and this is what was told to me by the DSS coordinator, that, well, there was COVID. So it was very difficult to go and see the industries or the businesses. And people were not really aware of it, or were not interested in it. So hopefully in the next few years, we'll be able to change some people's minds about Digital Main Street and the opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Frank. And I also would like to welcome Carlos as our DDS coordinator, working with us. Welcome, Carlos. Can I get the mover and a seconder from the committee on this report? Resolved that the update regarding the Digital Main Street DSS coordinator be received. Mover? Richard? And a seconder? Oh, Alejandro? Okay. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. The next report, Frank, is the Concierge Service Program.
So the meaning behind this beautiful term
Can anybody else not hear the audio right now?
Can't hear a thing.
Yes.
Same here.
Sorry. Start over again.
I can hear Frank, and I can hear everybody else.
Concierge Program.
There you go.
Okay. The Concierge Program is a term used to assist our local businesses through the development process primarily. Whenever they're intending to expand their operation, our objective is to help them through that process. And we've been helping quite a few of our existing businesses, but more importantly, I wanted to bring everybody's attention to the previous meetings that we've had with several of our businesses. For example, Canerta Inc., we had numerous phone calls and meetings where they are going to actually be expanding their operation here in Grimsby by purchasing some land and have their labs and even grow their hemp in our community and manufacture their product. So we've helped them to date. We've actually met with our chairman and the planning department to talk about the zoning use of this particular parcel of land that they're looking at, and hopefully in the next several months they will actually start their operation. So this is a good news story for a startup, high technology, pharmaceutical type firm that in our midst, and it's actually happening before us, you know, and that's wonderful. Leuna Local 837, large organization throughout Southern Ontario. Their training center was supposed to open on the end of June. Unfortunately, they've delayed it, and most likely in the fall. And that's I just wanted to bring everyone up to date on that. Another part of the Concierge Program is that we've assisted the owners of 194 Wolverton Road. There have been many meetings on this, and we've been trying to help the owners to find a suitable tenant for that site. And I think we found one. We believe that a large local regional Niagara region industry is thinking of leasing the entire site sometime by the balance of this year. I went to visit that company, and they would probably employ about a dozen people, and hopefully we'll make that happen. We're actually having a meeting tomorrow, a pre-consultation meeting with the planning department to ensure that that happens. So it looks like planning is on board. Building and engineering is going to be on board to amend the site plan agreement. And as I said, hopefully by the balance of this year, the new company will be locating there. Finally, there's another major project that we've been working on. It's very closely with Blackwood Partners. Blackwood Partners, as you know, is located on the 36 acres just west of the winery there on Kilson Road. And what we've been doing lately with them is talking about their site plan, and now it's about it's between lawyers, and they'll sort that out, and hopefully in the next little while we have some interesting and exciting news to share with the committee, hopefully by the middle of August. But here's the economic impact that was, you know, presented to council. If you recall, this is a potential of 500 new jobs, 750,000 square feet, and quite a bit of taxes that we could gain as a result of this development. It's the only site in Grimsby that's greenfield and 36 acres. So it's a win-win for Grimsby, Niagara region, and everyone involved, because once this is going to start sometime in the spring, they were going to be developing it in the spring, we'll be working very closely with all the various departments to make it happen.
Frank, 94 billion to build the warehouse, or million? Overall warehouse building cost. million or billion?
It's million, 94 million, sorry. I thought I changed that. I did change it, maybe this is an old slide. And finally, something that came to my attention in the past several months is that the Niagara Tourism Association, the Niagara Gateway, they won 5 major awards. I thought this was very unique for a small group for their website and their video. So this is a good win for the town of Grimsby because it's being promoted throughout Canada and maybe even the world, considering some of the awards that they've received, which is worldwide. I thought this was a very important thing for the committee to know. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to talk a little bit about the Concierge Program, and then we'll go to the next one?
Thank you for your report there, Frank. What I'd like to do is we could get back to the committee up top there, Peter, that'd be great. Yeah, just with regards to the Blackwood development, that turned out to be a very positive initiative for the town of Grimsby. There was some, with council, there was some discussion back and forth on the proposal and that, but at the end of the day, the developer worked with our planning staff, worked with town staff, and we came up with a very good plan there. So that was supported by council. So any comments or questions from committee members with regards to Frank's report there? CAO Slang?
Oh, Richard's on.
Oh, sorry. Richard, sorry. Do you have any comments?
No.
No? Okay. All righty.
Oh, sorry.
I'd like to get a motion here
I
that...
have something.
Oh, sorry.
Richard, you have your hand up, so is that just...
No, sorry, that was from before here.
No, I just wanted to say that when we started GDAC this council term, we said that economic development would be not just up to one person, but sort of a new culture that we promote within the organization. And I have to say that what I've seen with the Concierge Program, that it's all hands on deck when Frank comes into town hall and says, we got to do something for Wolverton, as you saw, or for Blackwood, or for the new startup. So we assemble the development engineers, we assemble the planning staff. I'm involved to meet with some of the CEOs, and we drive this forward. That's the only way this is going to work is if it becomes a culture within our organization. And I have to praise this council for supporting an economic development officer. We never could have done this without people like Adam and Frank really pushing the organization. Because you got to figure, we don't have a big planning staff, 3 to 4 people, and there's tons of development applications coming through right now. And, and it's how do you juggle that? How do you juggle, someone that needs something in the way of a residential development versus commercial? So they're rising to the top, and we're moving forward on the commercial side. So just wanted to praise council for that, and the culture is shifting. Thanks.
Thank you, CAO. Oh, Councilor Dunstall.
I won't take long. All I want to say is, and I don't think we'll forget this, we are now plugged in. And I don't think we were ever plugged in like we're plugged in now. So that's really important. And with all this here, this is amazing. It really is. We are plugged in.
Thank you, Councilor. I have looking for a motion from the committee. Can I get a mover that resolved that the update regarding the Concierge Service Program be received? Richard? And Alejandra? Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. So the next item, Frank, corporate visitation program?
Okay, the corporate visitation program is a very big part of assisting local businesses. And what I've done here is try to, and by the way, the corporate visitation program is open to anyone who wishes to come and join us during the visits at our local businesses. And you know, we had the mayor and we had the chairman and the CAO and Alejandra joining us quite often at some of the meetings. And I have to say I'm really impressed with the fact that these very important people and very busy people actually show up at these corporate visits, because it impresses the presidents and CEOs and operation managers of these businesses. It really does impress them, because I've got some feedback and saying, wow, the mayor is here, the councilor is here, the CAO is here, of all people, and that's impressive. So I have to say thank you very much to those individuals that participated, and as we begin our next phase, we'll get other members of council involved as well. We visited about 10 businesses in the past couple of months. And I want to start with the one that I thought was really a fun event, and this was put together by Niagara Region Economic Development. There were about 25 consul generals from Europe that participated in this event, and I also was there and met quite a few people that I actually knew for many years in economic development. And why is this important? You never know when there's going to be an opportunity from those consul generals to that they may have an industry from Germany or Italy or France that may be considering Ontario, Niagara region. And we treated them well. It was a wonderful event at the Niagara College Winery. I forget the name of it, but that area, and it was a beautiful day, and they really enjoyed it. So I thought this was an important component to share with you. Now, we went to visit, these are some of the businesses that we actually went to visit, and I took these pictures to show this committee that there's a lot of activity behind those walls that we see on the highway or on those businesses. And the first one we went to visit was John Deere, Canada. And we met with the president there, and he's called the division sales manager. But they first located here in '78. That's how old that building is. And they've expanded. I think the last time that they expanded was 2011. And they've got 48,000 parts coming out of that plant a year. 48,000 parts are shipped from that plant throughout North America and Canada. Mainly, obviously, 70% of its volume is in the U.S. They have 385,000 square feet, 180 employees, 660 employees across Canada, 315 dealers. They deal with a lot of the dealers, of course. And what we found out from them, and they were very kind to talk to us about it, and we went through a tour and everything else, extremely efficient organization. They were asking about public transportation, because some of their employees are coming from all over Niagara. So hopefully January 1st, Niagara region will have their one transit, and hopefully it'll get out there. They do have plans to expand, and that's why the lands west of the building is empty. And because we asked about that, and they said we'd like to hold on to it because in the next 4 or 5 years we will probably be expanding our operation. Mr. Chairman, you want me to go the whole thing before we approve it, right?
Yeah, sure. You can go through the whole report there, Frank. Thank you.
40 Creek Distillery, sorry I don't have a lot of information on this, but there must have been a glitch here. But Bill Ashburn, the master blender, won many international awards with their whiskeys and their products. They even bottle for Appleton rum from Jamaica there as well. They employ approximately 85 people. And their main concern or challenge is square footage of their warehouse for the barrels. When we were walking through the warehouse, we found out that it was a very it was chilled in there, and we thought it was air conditioning, but it's not actually air conditioning. It's actually the alcohol evaporating in the building, and it kept it at a really cool temperature, just about this temperature right here.
60 degrees.
Yeah, it's incredible. I didn't know that until I actually visited this company. So we had a really good visit, and hopefully in the next little while we will be helping them to expand their operation as well. Here's another startup that I thought was very interesting. We went to meet a couple of times, and this Chris Dodd is a local inventor and engineer, and he wants to build this tiny house. He's actually working out of his garage with his engineer next to the counselor here. And what it is these panels that are actually used for freezers. You know, these huge freezers that you see on the highways or whatever that they freeze food and whatnot. The same sort of panels. He just puts them together and makes it look like a 300 to 500 square foot tiny house that you can put in the backyard, and maybe your in-laws or whoever can live in it. And he wants to put the first one in his backyard, so we're going to work with the planning department and building department to make sure that their plans are approved, and it will be the first of its kind in Ontario, as far as I know. So we'll keep an eye on Chris and try to help them along the way. Andrew Peller Winery. Andrew Peller Winery is the second largest Canadian winery, and it's an amazing organization in that it also has, I believe, 16 different brands, including Trius, Green Gretzky. I mean, there's a lot of others that I can't remember, but you can go on the website and check them out. But it's just amazing that they have a whole bunch of other organizations that are under Andrew Peller Winery. They have about 100 to 135 employees in Grimsby, and overall about 1,500 in Canada. We've helped them with two particular building plans that they had. If you look at the picture, you'll see Harry and then this young lady to the right. On the top right-hand corner, there's one of the silos that the picture doesn't show, but there's a vacant area. The silo required assembly and a building permit, and we expedited it in a matter of a couple of weeks. It was expedited, and thanks to the building department, as Harry says, they're amazing. The staff, believe it or not, I've worked in many municipalities in my career, and in Grimsby, they're extremely conscientious, and they want to expedite the development process. This building application that they had, it was for 1 month, and we guarantee that in 1 month we'll get it out to the owners. It was just under 1 month, and we got it out. So that's an amazing achievement, and council and this committee should be aware of that, because I'm an outsider looking in, and I'm telling you that the staff is doing a great job, especially in buildings here where we expedited the plan. They have another application for public works issue that we'll be working closely with them, and that's great. It's a great company, and it's doing really well. SimCorp. We went to meet with Rick. Rick is a local. He lives in Grimsby, so he knows Grimsby quite well. This is a high-tech firm, believe it or not. You would never notice that by the building outside, but when you go inside, it's all high-tech. And I'm not going to get into the details. You can read it at your leisure, but I can tell you that there's 130 software engineers there, off and on. They are actually owned by a Japanese firm, originally by a Finnish firm. So they're doing quite well. They do have 2 or 3 other competitors, one in Italy, one in Japan, and one in Denmark, and US, I should say. But they're doing quite well, and they will be, they were thinking of expanding prior to COVID, believe it or not, another 20,000 square feet, but they decided to hold off because of COVID, and the good thing they did, because a lot of their employees are working externally. So they do have 10,000 square feet of office, only half of which is actually being used. So quite interesting in that. So in total, they have, as I said, 130 employees, 50,000 square feet of manufacturing facility, and 10,000 square feet of office. And what Mr. Turgati said was that he likes to see the town promote our local businesses a lot more. And that's what he noted, you know, as being lacking in our community, which that was kind of interesting, I would say, that for someone to say that, and that's important. And we will look at that and see what we can do in the future. Precision Software Technologies, a company that we went to visit as well last few weeks back. They specialize in custom roll manufacturing and the refurbishing of those rolls. Now, what are these rolls used for? I didn't know until I was there. They are basically used for anything to do with food manufacturing. For example, when they make pasta or when they make anything to do with food, it goes through these rollers, and that's an amazing accomplishment for this local business owner. They established in Grimsby in '84, and they've expanded since they got 25,000 square feet. They employ 11 people, and just one of them we saw, and you can see the picture with the mayor on the bottom left. The fellow in the middle is from Ukraine. They just hired him about a month or two ago. That's great. The company wants to expand, possibly another 11,000 square feet, but they're having some challenges with the region that we're going to sort them out. And this is where our relationship with the region is going to come to play, hopefully. And I'm going to be using the offices of the city manager to put some weight on ensuring that this company can get that expansion, because it's fronting on a regional road. So you can imagine the issues and concerns about that. Right behind this building is Systems Environmental Products. This is a very unique company in that they make the supplies, the spray equipment for the agricultural businesses, and also for pest control. So they actually manufacture those white bins, as you can see, that you see on the back of trucks, that water the plants, anything chemically associated, they actually make. They don't make the chemicals, they make the actual box and the pumps and so forth. 5,000 square feet. They want to expand and employ an additional 5 people, I believe. They want, but this is a situation where we have to wait for the region to accommodate for this opportunity. Precision Measurement Works is located on Iroquois Trail. They've been there since 2005. They actually have 2 buildings there. And they do custom machining and fabrication. CNC machines are all over the one building, and then welding shop is in the other building. They hire quite a few apprentices. They wanted to expand, but they had to put it on hold because of the economic conditions currently. They've had 18 employees and about 20,000 square feet.
If I may, Frank, if we could, I see Richard, you have your hand up for anything?
With the guy who's building the tiny houses, if he needs any support as a small business, then happy to help him for what's available in Niagara and in Hamilton. So Frank, if you want to refer him to me, or if he already has that, then fine.
Which business?
Sorry, Richard, just have a little trouble hearing you.
If the guy who's building the plastic small buildings, tiny houses, there's lots of grant and services to people that are starting out with startups. If he needs help and support in getting that, then I'm pretty familiar with the ecosystem in Niagara and Hamilton. If he wants some more information, then please refer him to me, and I'm happy to get him started.
Frank, did you want to comment on that?
We'll refer them to you, Richard, as long as they stay in Grimsby.
We'll try to get him some money.
Not a problem, yes. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Great idea. Thank you, Richard. You want to continue, Frank? Thank you.
Sherwin-Williams, they manufacture powder paints in Iroquois Trail as well, and they're, I guess, the largest industrial powder paint on metal surfaces manufacturer in Canada. So they're very unique, and it's in our backyard, and it's wonderful. Their customers are primarily in Quebec, Ontario, and the United States. They plan to expand in a couple of years. They got 35,000 square feet, close to 80 people, but their biggest challenge is keeping their employees and attracting new employees. Sometimes they hire people and they don't even show up for work. Something is happening out there and we just can't figure it out yet. But that's our main challenge, and we'll be helping them with a few of the issues that they've been having in terms of extending their permit for signage that basically says, you know, we're looking for new hires here. And it's a simple, as trivial as an issue as that, but that's what they wanted us to help them out, and we're working on that as well. Marie Damiani did mention that, you know, what she suggested, just like Rick Trigati suggested, that we should be promoting our businesses a little bit more, the town should. But what she suggested is that maybe the town should consider hiring a community engagement officer to promote the good news about our community to organizations, whether it's seniors clubs and seniors groups and whatnot. So well, that's an interesting situation, you know, because she worked for a community that did this, and it was extremely well received in the community. I haven't discussed it with our CAO yet, but that was one of the issues that came up during my conversation with her, and it was, I thought, a good idea. All right, I think no, this is the last one that we went to visit, the last company. It's called Vtr Feeder Solutions. Not knowing what feeders are all about until we went to visit this company that has located in Grimsby in 2017. They design these machines, highly technology machines that actually put products together. It's one of a kind in North America, and they've got businesses coming from all over North America, primarily from the United States. They've got 70 employees, 35,000 square feet. They've recently expanded to approximately 26,000 square feet, and they will be expanding even further by purchasing the building east of that, east of their current building. So they are growing quite well, and I believe that I think they were going to be hiring another 15 to 20 employees once they finish completing their expansion. Well, here's the challenges again: finding good trades. Workforce development is a major issue with every industry that we've met. Because they're high tech, they also visit Mohawk College and Niagara College on a regular basis to see how they can get some of those potential students to consider their company. And we saw a lot of people working there that have highly skilled knowledge on creating things. And I think that the chairman can talk a little bit more about that last one, because we really enjoyed going through it. Mr. Chairman, I think that's about the summary of it all. As I can say that we really enjoyed going through these industries, and we'll go through quite a few others. But what was, in summary, a lot of the businesses want to expand, and I think possibly because of the economic situation that we're going through right now, the interest rates, the inflation, hopefully that will change in the next several months, and these industries will start thinking about expansion and creating more jobs. So it's good news for Grimsby.
Very good. Thank you very much for your report, Frank, and I'll wait and I'll comment at the end here. But Alejandra, any comments or questions?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to comment. I had an opportunity to join a couple of the meetings, and it was great. it was, it's those meetings that human contact, that those conversations that lead to realizations and ideas that guide action. And we're seeing that action happen, and it's exciting to see. One of the things that I noticed to the places where I was able to join, and as I read about the others, is that labor force is still such an issue. So I think it's really important that we continue to work with the region as they explore solutions, because it's an issue that isn't necessarily going away. As the labor market changes, because companies are able to hire, not necessarily for manual labor, but as they're able to hire highly skilled people remotely, we want to make sure that residents in Grimsby still have access to opportunities, whether it's here or whether it's, so I don't know what all those solutions are, or what all that looks like, but I think we need to continue to work with the region closely to make sure that those labor force issues are continue to we look for solutions for those. One of the things that I do want to say, and Frank, you mentioned it, was I think the business community, those business owners and CEOs, they are really thankful to see people come through to say, you know what, we care that you're here, you matter to our town. You may not know right now what an issue may be, but here's a line of communication that's been open. And it's those relationships that I think are so critical. And I'm so thankful that we have an economic development officer that is creating those lines of communication, those relationships with the town. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandra. Rebecca?
Thank you, Dave. I wanted to echo a lot of what Alejandra said, in that this kind of communication, this kind of outreach has been sorely missing, and that now that Frank is doing this, that the mayor is involved, that councillors are involved, this encourages businesses to stay in Grimsby. This encourages business to speak up and go, I have an issue, I want somebody to help me with it. I don't want to leave. So the work that you're doing, Frank, and everyone else who's been part of this is fabulous. Thank you for doing it. If there is an opportunity for the chamber to support, along with any, we're working on some really interesting programming around workforce development. So there might be opportunities to connect some of these businesses to that. Please let me know. I'd love to be coming along on some of these visitations and hearing what some of these challenges are. But great work. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Rebecca. CAO Slang?
Yes, just a couple comments, and the corporate visits have been fabulous, so thanks, Frank and Chair and Alejandra. You've been to most of them, so thank you for that. I think there's a couple things that we keep hearing repetitively, and that's transit. Sherwin-Williams still can't find people. So in January 2023, when the region consolidates transit, Frank and I got to work on making sure that there's access to our businesses along there, and we've got to continue to promote it. Again, thanking this council for finally investing in transit in Grimsby in 2020, otherwise we wouldn't be part of this, but we're hearing transit all the time. The second one is the communication side. Now, I tried hard in the 2020 budget process. I didn't get a communications person. At least we did get a ECDev. But if you look at Lincoln, Niagara-on-the-Lake, Thorold, they all have communications people working very closely with ECDev. And they're really knocking it out of the park. And I heard that a lot from SimCorp, that we're just not doing enough promoting, the lifestyle that people could have in Grimsby to attract workforce, and as well promoting the businesses that we have. We just don't have the bandwidth. If you look at Lincoln, they've got 5 people now, 5 and a 6th on contract in ECDev and communications, and you see that in the work that they're doing for promoting their community. We have not done that, and I'm going to be pushing hard in 2023 in the budget process to do that, because now we're hearing it from the businesses. So we've got to promote this town. In fact, even us trying to attract people, we're trying to attract a director of planning, and we're not able to do that. We're just not seen in the market on a Canadian basis. people don't even know where Grimsby is. They drive through pretty fast to get to Niagara Falls and Niagara Lake. So we've got to promote this community much better, and with our businesses, jointly with our businesses, to make it, you know, a place that people the high-tech talent would want to locate to. So I'm going to be working hard at that. I've done some benchmarking, and Lincoln's close to 6 people now and focused on ECDev and communications. So.
Thank you, CAO, for your comments. Seeing no other comments, I'd like to personally start off by thanking our Economic Development Officer, Frank, for the hard work that he's really put into this, the Corporate Visitation Program. I mean, this is something that, as Councillor Dunstall he's aware of too, we haven't really stepped up to the plate in the past. I mean, there's been a lot of good work done, don't get me wrong, but to get out and knock on the doors and visit and speak to the businesses, the owners, we've met with VPs, presidents of companies and that, so it just gives the town of Grimsby a lead into to wanting and working with the businesses, how we can help them out. So it's just going through the different visitations in that. I was so impressed that many of the businesses in town, how they have global connections with other companies around the world, how they're affiliated, how they're working, their products are being marketed out in the global world. Raw materials are brought in, so it was a very enlightening visitations for the being out there and going to the businesses. The other thing I just want to do, I want to mention too that with the group, and I want to thank the group that was the mayor. I want to thank our CAO, Alejandra, and Frank and myself. Just what we found out talking to a lot of the businesses, and we did have a lot of discussion with regards to the Niagara Workforce Agency that is right, it's locally here. And a lot of them, they really weren't aware of the work that the Niagara Workforce Agency does. So that was a good lead to get them up to speed with regards to what's out there, what help it can be provided there. So that's pretty much it for me. So if I could get again, thank you very much for the report, Frank. It was great. If I could get a mover and a seconder from the resolution, resolve that the updating regarding the corporate visitation program be received.
I'll move.
Richard?
Sure.
And Michael? All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is the vacant land directory. Frank, would you like to comment on that? Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, these are some of the projects that we're currently working on and hopefully will complete shortly by the balance of the next few months or by the balance of the year. The vacant land directory. Vacant land directory is an important document in the sense that whenever an industry is looking at coming to our community, we should have at our fingertips what lands may be available for sale, either whether it's greenfield or potential expansion of lands, but primarily greenfield pieces of properties that we could provide the region or a potential walk-in that information. So I've actually used some of my students that I teach at Ryerson in New York, and they're actually making a presentation tomorrow night. For those that wish to participate, let me know. And they have actually worked with our finance department, our engineering department, and our planning department to put together under the GIS, put together the 30 or 35 odd pieces of property that are available for potential development in our community. So then I'll review it and hopefully produce it electronically. I don't think we'll need to print it, but we'll produce it electronic and we'll put it on our webpage. So that's an update on the vacant land directory.
Thank you, Frank. Any comments or questions from the committee? Seeing none, I just want to say I think that's a great initiative, Frank. It's something that's been I've been kind of concerned about, that we've had a lot of vacant properties in the community, and there just hasn't been a lot of action and movement to it. It's great that the Kelson Avenue property by Blackwood is moving forward again. That's a big chunk of property that's now going to be have some businesses put to it. So yeah, that's fantastic. Look forward to whatever comes out of the report from the people from Ryerson. I get a resolution moved and second that resolved that the update regarding the vacant land directory be received. Alejandra, Councilor Ritchie, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. The next item is on our agenda is community profile.
Mr. Chairman, the community profile is, as the slide shows, if I can get it up, is the Bible of the community, and it provides potential investors and the community in general with an understanding of what we have available. Quality of life is the #1 reason why business is located in a community. And Grimsby's got an excellent quality of life. So when you have to tick off what are quality of life factors, you need to show that as part of your community profile, because 98% of any investor looking at your community will go on your website and will look at your community profile. And in your community profile, you have to identify vacant lands, you have to identify, your taxes, your DC charges, and also the other components, the social, cultural components that are in your community. So in association with some of my students, we're doing that as well. I'm using as my slaves, if you will, to help me put together a lot of that information, and hopefully by the balance of this year, and with the help of Environics Analytics, whom I've been working closely with, through the Economic Developers Council of Ontario and Environics, we're going to get the latest statistical data in the next month or two, and we'll have the latest information in our community profile. So it will be a great document, hopefully by the balance of this year or even earlier.
Great, thank you very much, Frank, for that update. Great initiative for the community. So I look forward to any information that comes from that. Any comments or questions from committee members? Seeing none? Could I get a mover and a seconder to resolve that the update regarding the community profile be received? Richard? And Councilor Ritchie, thank you. And all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. That pretty well summarizes our agenda for the GDAC meeting. Just one other update I'd be looking for, if we could. We've had it listed as getting updates from the DIA and the Chamber of Commerce. So we currently don't have a representative from the DIA here right now, But I was wondering, Rebecca, from the Chamber, would you have any updates from things that have been going on in town with businesses, activities and that through the Chamber?
Yes, absolutely. I'd be delighted to. Thank you, Chair. Here at the Chamber, obviously, we were very busy over the last month or a couple of months getting ready for the happening in Grimsby, which happened and was a huge success. And I know the committee is continuing plans already to make next year's festival even bigger and better. So if you didn't have an opportunity to check out this year's happening, put it in your calendars for next year. And we had our golf tournament. We're raising money to help with Christian Horizons' new affordable housing build that's taking place here in Grimsby. So that was a great success. And we'll be doing the big check presentation probably in September. We're really busy behind the scenes planning for fall events with a really strong focus on educational opportunities for our members. We have a health and wellness event in September, as well as an educational lunch and learn about employee attraction and retention. And obviously we'll be planning a Meet Your Candidates event open to the public in advance of the municipal elections. I think, Dave, you were alluding to the Niagara Workforce Planning Board. We're actually working with them on an Engaging SMEs Design Labs project, which I think would be perfect for some of the corporate visitation participants. So if anybody wants more information about what that program's about, just reach out. I'd be delighted to have a conversation. We are engaging quite heavily with Brock as well. We've had several meetings about a bunch of their initiatives, including some of the needs in the local business community for professional and continuing education, and how we can connect the businesses to opportunities for support, ongoing learning, upskilling at Brock. So those have been great discussions, very productive, and we've connected a few businesses to some of their micro-credential planning programs. And the next biggest thing I think that we're looking at too, Frank and I've had a few discussions about this. There seems to be a need or a desire for the local businesses to really, smaller businesses, to connect with the town and understand more about what's going on. So we're going to do a very small, informal, bi-monthly event series at Station 1. Business owners can drop by, chat with Frank. Hopefully Harry or some counselors can make it out as well, just to chat and be like, oh, here's what's going on with this, or I have a question about this. And really informal, no agenda, nothing structured, just grab a coffee or some other beverage and sit down and chat and kind of humanize the town side of things and with the business community. So that's what the Chamber's been up to.
Thank you, Rebecca. Any comments or questions from committee members from the report from the Chamber? Seeing none, I just want to say that you're absolutely right. The happening in Grimsby was such a huge success. The downtown was just filled with lots of people, lots of activity in that, and I think it worked well for the businesses and just as the community as a whole, just to get together and enjoy that event. And glad to hear your golf tournament was another successful event there too, Rebecca. So yeah, and your initiatives that you're looking at moving in the fall, that sounds great too. So thank you very much for your report. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the updates from the Chamber? Michael? And Alejandra? Thank you very much. And all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Our next item is new business. Is there any new business or discussion any committee members would like to bring forward at this time? Alejandra.
Just a question for discussion. Can you, Frank or Harry or anybody who might be more in the know, give us a bit of information about the work that's going to be happening in terms of transit and it's in working with the region, and how that might help us in economic development.
Sorry, Alejandro, I missed a little bit of that. Okay, CIA, would you like to comment?
So yeah, she was asking about the movement towards the integrated transit and how, just a bit of an update on that. So there's been a new commission established, a temporary commission with 15 members. Wayne Furtick is the vice chair of that, so he's representing the town of Grimsby on that. They've had their first meeting and selected the chair, which is Walter Senzik. So they're working quite feverishly over the next 90 days in establishing, you know, who the new general manager will be of the new, you know, transit operations. That's probably one of their first things. And then they're going to be working on, you know, the transfer of assets and things like that from a finance perspective. That all has to be done by January of 2023. So as far as scheduling and transit schedules and things like that, that won't get started probably till Q1 2023, Q2 2023, because they have to establish the new commission, get started, and you probably won't see some modifications until 2024. So that is going to be happening. The fare integration is going to happen right in January 2023, so you could travel from Fort Erie to Grimsby for $3. So whereas now you could never do it, and it'll probably take you 2 days. so there's going to be some improvements, but we're going to, as far as scheduling, we probably won't see that till mid 2023. So we'll be working on that together. We continue, it's a big catalyst to continue our GO discussions with Metrolinx in the province. They wanted to see an integrated transit system, so they're going to see that in January 2023 with one commission. So that's important, and we continue to inform the province of that, because that was a prerequisite to making sure GO comes to Grimsby, even though it wasn't officially said in the news, but they definitely wanted to see that, both levels of government, both when the Liberals were in power and now when the Conservatives are in power. So as far as helping routes and that, you won't see a lot of that till later in 2023, 2024.
Great, thank you, CAO, for your comments on that. Any other new business? I've not seen any. I want to thank everybody for their attendance today and their participation, and again, especially I want to thank Frank for all the work that he's put into the business corporate visitations and helping Grimsby move forward. So at this time, we don't have a scheduled meeting for GDAC, but as things come up and as we move forward, we can always have another meeting planned, and we can have a meeting for the committee. So I'd like to look for an adjournment to this meeting. Call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.